Youngest in the Yacht Club. I am Vince Serrano. Man, we've got a special guest today. We've got an entrepreneur, a rap media star, and a label owner. We've got J Burna718. What's up, bro?
What's going on, my brother?
Bro.
Man, that was a great introduction. I ain't gonna
Yeah, man. I forgot to tell you, you my friend too, so that's dope, man. Business partner and a friend too, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, I'll do your intros all the time. No, we always start off Youngest in the Yacht Club with the one question. Who is J Burna718?
J Burna718 is a rapper from Queens, New York. Went through a lot of trials and tribulations. And maybe if Vince will ask the question, I'll tell you how I got through that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. What trials and tribulations did you get through, man?
You know, when growing up, my dad, you know, was dealing with alcohol. My mom's dealing with cancer. You know, growing up in the environment that I grew up in. And on top of that, then moving down to Florida, unexpected for my grandfather's funeral.
Yeah.
And then from one thing to another, you know, I was out here living in Florida, I was homeless at a time too. A lot of people don't know that.
Damn.
And then, you know, just got to keep grinding, keep swinging, keep aiming for them fences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
put in that hard work and believe in yourself. So
Yeah. Where did you grow up at, man?
I grew up in Queens, New York, in Corona to be exact.
Okay. How was your life like living there?
You know, living there was great. Taught me a lot. And it taught me to grow up tough, you know, especially in the environment that I grew up in, which I love. And I wouldn't change it for anything else. It made me who I am.
That's big, man, because I feel like a lot of people, they could, you know, they make excuses for the environment they grow up in. They become a product of their environment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're a product of your environment?
I feel like I want to represent the environment I grew up in, but also like in a positive state. Like, you know, like you can make it out of there, you know, and there's something better at the end of the road. If you work hard towards it, you got to have a goal. You know what I'm saying? And then work your ass off to achieve it.
That's fine.
You know what I'm saying? Not where, of course, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And that's where we all should, you know, look into how to improve our lives on an everyday basis.
Always.
And that's where I'm at, man, and just got to keep working.
That's dope, bro. It's dope. It's dope that you can, you know, I like to say that I'm not a product of my environment. My environment's a product of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I can change the way.
Change your environment?
Hell yeah, I could. Yeah, absolutely. You know, they actually did studies on that, man. Physiology, so that you could change the way you feel just by saying, like, you could be in like the depths of hell and change the way you feel just by telling yourself every single day that you're someplace. Like, they did actual studies. Like, people have actually been like better, like in better moods, even though they're in dire situations, because they tell themselves that they're in a good situation.
Law of attraction. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but literally with science though, like physiology is saying that the way that they felt, even though they're in tough situations, because of the way they talk to themselves, it ended up creating that for them.
Words are definitely powerful.
Yeah.
For sure, and what you put out in the universe. You know?
Yeah. How you feel that way?
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
You say you went through some more trials and tribulations, like your mom had cancer and your dad.
My dad passed away about 2 years ago. Rest in peace to my pops.
Yeah.
I love you to death. And my mom's, I'm blessed to have my mother.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Where's she at?
She's in Queens. She's back home.
So she's
with
still
my grandmother.
Okay, so yeah, so the family's still there.
Yeah, grandma went back to New York. I never understood it, but yeah.
Well, I think you were talking earlier today, is like there's some people that just won't, they're emotionally attached to
to shout out to my mom. Yeah. But yeah, she's mostly attached, and I understand it, you know, to a certain degree, basically like to the point that it's like afraid of change. A lot of people are afraid of change, including myself at one point in my life.
Yeah.
Before moving down to Florida, and now I understand, like, you know, it's okay to be afraid and change your environment around you, especially if it's for the better. You know?
Right. I mean, you said you went homeless, right?
Yeah, I was living out of my car. A lot of people don't know that. If you knew me and I was riding in those Accords, you know, then you know what time it was, you know what type of time I was on, which that's not what I'm promoting.
Yeah.
It's just basically like you could turn your life around. There's no excuses. You know what I'm saying? You put your mind to it, and people are going to try to bring you down and, you know, talk you out of it, tell you you're crazy.
Yeah.
But you need that in your life.
Yeah, you need to make shit happen.
Yeah,
Man.
facts.
Bro, it's good to hear that, bro. How were you feeling like in that situation, like when you was living out of your car?
Man, it was so crazy that where I would park my car was in front of a funeral. Like a cemetery, sorry, pardon me. Like a cemetery.
Yeah.
So like I would park my car and I was looking at like tombstones and shit. And it was fucking creepy.
Why did you park there though?
That was actually the place where you couldn't tow my car. So just in case if I was sleeping or anything, you know, you just never know. And
they wouldn't tow your car from a funeral?
No. The community, it was a gate that split the actual cemetery, but I was in the community.
Oh, wow.
Where the car was at. And then I was actually seeing the cemetery. So I would throw beats on. Nobody would really know what I was going through because that's not something that you really want to put out.
Yeah.
And, so I basically just kept busy, man, and just stood writing in my car. Shout out to Talent. You know, sometimes I would be in his studio. He'll let me crash there, and I'll just work on music, man.
That's fire, bro. Bro, I was going to ask you, how did you get into the music?
I was young. I was like about 8 years old, and my mom's, I remember she would tell me, boy, stop banging on those pots and pans. Like, stop it. This shit's annoying. And I'm like, you don't understand. I didn't even understand what I was doing, really.
Right.
But I grew up and I kept the penmanship, and, you know, I got better and better. And
when you say your penmanship, like, how did you get better doing it? Like,
I would write rhymes all day, every day. Shout out to Deeper Than Dreams, my brother Dreams, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be in a self-contained trailer, long story short, in high school, for example, and the teachers would come to us. Like, we wouldn't even, I wouldn't even leave the classroom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I didn't have nothing else to do. I could have paid attention. Pay attention in school. But I personally was just writing raps with my brother. And he was one up on me. I would one up him. And then we would practice our penmanship. And then from there, I just was like, okay, let's do this for real, you know?
Yeah. Well, how were you doing it for real in your car?
Well, I would write. The substance would come from everything. The substance in the music would come from everything that I was going through. So it was real, 100%. You couldn't deny that. And if you know me personally, you would know for real that it is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what really like made my pen grow, all those emotions and that hunger that you want to provide for your family. You know, I got to pay my mom's bills and, you know, a lot of medications. And if that don't motivate you, I don't know what will.
What answer to that? How'd you come up out of that, man? So what was the...
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, I wouldn't say like I'm completely out of it because I still, you know, take care of my moms, and I'm very proud to say that. You know, I'm extremely proud. And I can't say that I'm done. I haven't finished yet. I still got a lot to go. You know, I'm just getting started. It's scary, I think, because it's just getting started, you know? And I feel like with my mom's, there's no other drive like that I have in me except now recently, my son. Shout out to my son.
That's dope, man. So you just said congratulations on the baby. You know what I'm saying? And
man, I just had a beautiful son, man. Shout out to my wife, Lauren. And yeah, we're growing, man. It's a beautiful thing now. Now I'm a father and I understand, you know, all these sacrifices you have to make and everything. It's a purpose, you know, you have. And now I don't want to have my time go to waste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want my son to grow up and see you could really do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fire, bro. That's fire. Now that you have a child, right? What's your mindset with the music?
With the music, I feel like I have a lot more to speak about now. And I'm sorry, but it's true. I have a lot more to talk about. This is the scary part.
Like what? Like,
you know, there's a lot of more substance. Now my son, now we went from talking that I was homeless to me having a son and a wife, and how did that come about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how did I even find the one? How did you even do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, those are the type of things that is intriguing.
Yeah. I was saying, like, yeah, you have a lot more. So it's like, yeah, man, like these diapers, right? Right.
100%.
You know?
The way they grow out of them is, man.
There you
it's
go.
fast.
But even like as a father, like, I mean, I have kids, you know what I'm saying? I've got kids that live with me now, you know? So it's like, I have kids that don't live with me now, you know? So it's like, I mean, even yesterday, shout out to my son, Vince. He's an artist. He does music. I literally was working in the same building that he's working in. We're both working on our dreams together.
It's fire.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Fire.
I tell myself, you know, I got to see him. I tell myself, like, for him to want to work with me, I got to get me stupid hot because he wants to get it on his own. And so
you got to admire that.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And so I'm like, yo, I got to make this shit happen because I want to do a record with my son. And I don't want to ask to do a record with my son. I want my son to be like, all right, Dad.
What's up with this record?
Let's get some
This feature.
You feel me? Shout out to Vince. Go holler at him. Listen to his music. It's V.I.N.C.E. He's fire.
Yeah, everybody go tap in right now.
Yeah, go do that, bro. Burna, where is? So you moved from New York. You had to go through trials and tribulations, homelessness to be exact, to get there. You get out of that. Like, what was? I feel like we kind of jumped through there. Like, what did you do to get out of it? Like,
well, there was a period that I was locked up for some time.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Okay.
So I was locked up for some time, and then I got out. You know, shout out to my lawyer. Yeah, for sure. You know, basically I got out, and that was a huge blessing. But then reality set in is like, okay, now let's find work. Now who wants to hire me? You know what I'm saying? But thankfully I did find a job, and now I'm a chief engineer.
Yeah.
For property management, so structural engineer, and that's why I say you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
you went from moving bricks to pallets.
yeah. Basically, man. Basically.
Yeah.
100%. Construction. Yeah, man. Remodeling. So now I even have my own company too.
That's fine.
So we also have the insurance and the licenses, like GC.
So it's more than just music.
It's more than just music, you know. It's not. I have more like to basically bring to the table. We have this remodeling, you know, construction gig going on, roofing, changing roofings, anything structural. I have a whole team with that. So it's not just music. And then, you know, I have the Queens Get the Money Records, that camp right there. Shout out to Dreams, you know, my brother Dreams, me and him put that together.
Yeah.
And shout out to GDR, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He produced this project that's going to drop real soon. I ain't going to say when, but you know.
Well, what is it? What is it?
It's greatness demands respect.
Yes, sir.
And you already know, you should know, because my brother Vince Serrano is on the project.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's going to drop real soon. So shout out to GDR.
Shout out to GDR.
GDR
beats,
produced.
crazy talent,
you know, he went crazy. Shout out Dynasty.
Yeah.
Dynasty went crazy.
Dynasty on the mix. Yes.
On the mix, you know what I'm saying? So it takes a team, man. It takes a village. Like how when they told me you know, like when I found out I was having my son, they was like, it takes a village, man. And now I understand, and whatever you do, you just got to have people, as long as they have the same vision and working hard, to achieve anything.
Amen to that. Bro, what made you want to do this professionally, like music at a high level? Like, what was the idea of it? Like,
I've always been real passionate to do music. It's always been a dream of mine. And to do that as a living is nothing better for me personally,
right.
in my opinion, you know, because of how much passion I have and love for the game and this competitive sport.
Yeah.
You know, so I love it.
It's fine.
And that's what I won't stop.
But why did you want to do it at a high level? Like some people just want to do it, you know, just to do it and competitive. But what made you want to do it professionally? To invest, like, because bro, you investing, like a lot of people. There's the music, and then there's the music business.
Correct. And it takes a lot as well. Like, got to make sure, you know, you have your budgeting up to par
Yeah, right.
and make sure you got those numbers up to par.
We literally talked about that today, right?
Yeah, actually, you was just dropping gems, and you know, Vince was telling me some gems, and I ain't gonna let y'all know too much, but you know,
Okay.
you can't. You know what I'm saying? Can't let all this info go for free, but you know what I'm saying. But I soaked in what I heard, and you know, I appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you that, you know, straight to your face as a man. Like, I love that.
Well, one of the things, and the reason why I want to say this, commending you, is because I tell you, man, I get artists that come to me all the time. I get artists that they want to do features or they want to work on a project, and then when I tell them, okay, if you're gonna do this, it requires you to invest in yourself, because how can you expect a business or a label or an investor to invest in you, but you won't even invest in yourself?
Talk about it.
How you gonna do that? And so they don't have anything. They just think that it's gonna come to them. And when I tell them, like, hey man, like, those are pipe dreams. Like, we gotta go to the studio to shoot this, to create the content. We gotta own the beats, because I'm not doing anything on no YouTube beats.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta own the publishing. We gotta own the master.
Careful with the samples.
We gotta own. We can't. Can't have the samples. Like, then that's just the making the music part. Now we have to create
content.
The content. No, fuck that. You can't. You have to have it mixed and mastered.
100%.
You have to have it sounding top quality.
Yeah.
You have to make more songs that you know that could be on that project. Then after that, you have to create the content, whether that's shooting music videos,
booking spots
to travel to get it done, studios to shoot the content, wardrobe to make the content.
100%.
We all have to get in the same place. Then whatever you spend on the fucking video, you need to spend 3 times that
on
to
promo
promote and market and give to the DJs.
So, yes, sir.
And bro, you know how many times, one thing I will credit to you, bro, and I told you this, and it's nothing to me. Out of 10 artists that I work with, 9 of them will fucking quit halfway through because they realize that it costs
a lot of money for you to invest in yourself and get heard if you want to.
Yeah.
Get heard at a specific level, a certain level.
Bro.
100%. Like, how the type of things that make people leave the game and not even fuck with it.
Oh, I see it.
It's easier to leave and not invest
I
shit.
See it. Bro, in our project, GDR, Greatness Demands Respect. And bro, you came to me, and I say this, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And bro, we already talked about this, right? When I spoke to you, bro, what did I tell you, bro?
The first thing was the splits, business side of it, and to make sure those beats were ready to go, owned, you know, the samples as we were talking about, you know what I'm saying? So first thing was the business side of it, 100%.
Yeah, like, hey, bro, I like your music. I fucks with what you're doing. I'll work with you, but here's the thing. I'm not rapping on no YouTube beats. You got to own them.
100%.
Second, bro, I'm not putting a penny up for this shit.
Respectfully, go ahead.
Because you need to understand what it costs to put this project together if you want to do it with me, and I'm not going to charge you.
And I'm glad you did it, because now it makes me understand what it is and how much it costs per project or anything that you want to work on.
Any project that you got.
Yeah, or personally, or joint collab, whatever you got going on, you got to have an understanding of the mathematics. You know what I'm saying?
And people don't. They're not thinking about that, bro. They're like, oh, let's do a project.
I hear it all the time too, personally.
Bro,
on my side, even with artists from back home, and I'm like, nah, like,
bro. The crazy thing about it is, bro, when people say that shit, and they like, and I know they ain't never put out a single by themselves,
or even like ready to promote it or do anything, put some type of money behind it. It's like 9 times out of 10, which is mostly a 10 out of 10. They won't put any money down.
And then they get mad at me because I look at them like, why you playing in my face, bro?
Oh yeah, they'll look at you like you're the asshole.
We talked about that.
Like you're doing something wrong.
And bro, the crazy part about this whole situation, this is what I'm and this is why I know that this project is gonna be great. And bro, we're looking to sign a deal. We're gonna have we're going through the paperwork, and
A lot of people don't know that.
a lot of people don't know that we're about to put Greatness Demands Respect out, but we're shopping it to different labels
Correct.
to be able to put it on the best platform. And bro, I do appreciate the business part about it, because we talk about it. You know, I think we said this, man. Like, my girl hit me up the other day. We talked about it, and my girl's like, man, I feel like you talk to Burna like he's your employee. And it was early in the morning, like we were making breakfast, and she was like, I could tell that he didn't like it.
Well, I'm gonna address it, right? Yeah.
Right.
So the thing was, and we spoke about this earlier too,
Right.
You know, and I love that about you, and I appreciate that. Why? Because the fact is, it's like I see it like, you know, tough love and criticism. Like, yo, this is what it takes. This is, you want a project, you want to invest. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
And you got to understand that. And whoever gets mad at that, like at that criticism or tough love or whatever, I don't really feel like you're ready for that next step, whatever it might be. You know,
bro, it's like we not playing rappers.
right? Yeah,
Like,
you
we
know
not
what I'm saying.
playing
This is
music
a business for real, and this is the way you support your family. This is the way that you making bread, and you know what I'm saying. Like, that means the world. Like,
Yeah, bro. And if we don't set the tone, right? Like, we talked about it, bro. Like, okay, you want to be, like, you're going to be a professional at this. But if we not taking it professionally, like, when we're talking music, we're talking work.
correct.
We're talking business.
Absolutely. Even on the phone, like how you said,
yeah.
any phone call, that's work.
That's work.
That's time. That's my time away from my family, away from my wife, away from my kids. Like, period.
So if I'm not doing that, which is worth more than any amount of money, because you can't even put a price on it, and I got to take that, and we got to take the time out to talk about it, bro, it got to be worth it.
Absolutely.
And so we can't play with it. Like, we can't, because this is how we make our bread, bro. This is how we do our thing. Like, people see oh, you saw it, right? Alex Monopoly in the background, right? We got Alex Monopoly.
Right.
Like, bro, we out here, we got all types of stuff. We got the studio equipment. We got this podcast room, bro. This shit don't come free.
Facts. You know, there's a rent here. There's a light bill.
There's equipment costs,
Equipment.
a time editing, bro. Like,
Well, that's the thing that we was talking about earlier. People don't understand the behind the scenes and the work that you putting in.
that we putting in.
Oh, well, I was talking about you right now.
Right,
You know,
right. But I'm saying, but
put in for sure.
right,
But I'm talking about before our project.
right.
You know, let's just talk hypothetically. Before our project, before we met, this is the way it gotta be, man. You gotta set the tone, like how you said.
Yeah, I mean, dog, like, if we gonna be businessmen and high caliber businessmen, bro, then we gotta tell each other, we gotta talk to them like that. And bro, you know, the great thing that I think about you is that I'm able to talk to you, and I believe in what you're doing. Like, I'm not gonna front, right? Burna.
I appreciate you, man.
Yo, one thing I fucks with about your music, and I'm gonna tell you, right? I'm a big fan of Dipset.
Hey.
I'm a big fan of Dipset, and my favorite artists, like, so I used to get compared to like Stack Bundles and Jim Jones,
Okay.
right?
I see that.
You see the resemblance?
Yeah. I see
Okay.
that. For sure. 100%. I see the resemblance off rip. Off rip.
Right? But bro, with your, and then I get the French Montana shit, right? But the reason why I say Dipset is because those were like fly, like
100%.
Ballin, Cam,
Shout out
Jim,
Jim,
Santana,
Santana. Yeah.
Jewels. But bro, when I heard your music and your cadence, at the beginning it threw me off. But it threw me off like Santana's flow. Like, oh shit, like, you don't sound like nobody. And the shit that you be saying hits me like Jewels' flow. Like, I see that. And I'm like, yo, we perform together.
Yes.
We done made real music. Bro, to be real with you, and I say this, dog, I don't like doing hip hop backpack. I'm a fan of it, but I don't like doing that. And then I hear your shit and I'm like, you bring me back to it.
When I write it, it's like I have to have that feeling.
But it's not backpack. It's like that and you don't have the same flow as Jewel's. I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing you to Jewel's neither. I'm saying you have that feeling where it hits you like, yo, did this nigga just make that rhyme like that?
I appreciate you. Thank you, girl.
Yo, did he just, and bro, the hooks, sometimes
I just want to rap. Tired of the drama and the trap, but the streets keep calling back. What they do? They keep calling back.
Yeah. Dog, that shit's crazy.
Appreciate you.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got that flow where you're like, are you serious? Look, man, we're going to talk about GDR, greatness demands respect, on the next segment. I'm going to talk to you about some advice that you give to artists, you know what I'm saying, that you can give to artists about life.
For sure.
And about music and about just leaving a legacy. And then we're going to wrap it up. Let the people know where to find you, man.
Yeah, everybody could go tap in.
Next segment. Next segment. All right, bro.
Yes, sir.
We're back with Youngest in the Yacht Club and J Burna718. Bruh, we were talking about your music and the kind of feeling that you give. Like, what would you say your sound is like? Like, how would you describe your sound?
My influences, let's start there. I was influenced heavy by Nasir Jones, Nas, Live at the Barbecue, Illmatic. Then I would keep hearing like Big L, things like that, and
that
Jada, Fab, D Block, and I fell in love with it, dog, and
for sure
that's when I started going crazy, writing, and then from there, I mean, like, to get back to the question of my sound, like, I don't really feel like I can't really like pinpoint who I really sound.
Yeah,
like
no, you and not like, but like, what would you say your sound is like?
Boom bap rap, real New York. But also, I want people to know I can also work out of my element. And that's not the only thing I could bring to the table.
Yeah,
that's just how I was brought and introduced to the game.
Yeah,
personally, but I have proven to myself that I could write other records.
For sure,
which is great.
Bro, one of the things that I was really liking is it does have a boom bap sound. It does have a very New York up north flow sound, but the beats are hard. Like, they are like new age. So it's like revolutionized boom bap.
And the way that I put it is like, you feel the realness in it because there's no line, there's no cap in the rap. Like, this is what I've really gone through. I'm not afraid to say it. Maybe somebody's going through the same thing and they don't know how to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm open to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people need to hear it.
Yeah.
And be like, I could get out of that situation I'm in.
Who are you influenced by now? I know you said Nas, but are there any artists that you listen to now?
Vince Serrano.
Bro, don't just say that. Nah.
No, for real. I mean, like, right now, just not because we have the project together, but I don't really, I mean, not to sound like mean, but I don't really, not listening to anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm going through a lot of stuff in my personal life, and I'm like in my own zone, and just no disrespect to no other rappers or anything, but I'm just respectfully doing my thing and just writing off of my personal experiences of what I'm going through,
All right, so
but that's what I'm listening to. Everybody go tap into I Am Vince Serrano.
Yeah, all right, cool. So I'm gonna piggyback off that. What do you like about my music that influences you?
The way that you have kept it real, your story, everything, from the top to the beginning to end, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people should be influenced by it. You know what I'm saying? And me seeing your story, I could like, how can you say, like, basically you could like, I could compare myself to you on like what you was doing in your prior, days and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I could basically,
I could relate.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. I could definitely relate to it. and I understand, you know, on that level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm like, damn, I know exactly what he's talking about. I know, like, so your rhymes hit me in a way like I wish my rhymes hit someone else that went through that same, you know, ordeal in their life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why these songs, I feel, me personally, that's why they hit the way they hit. Because it's like, I'm not faking no funk, bro. Like,
Right.
this is really what's going down.
Yeah.
You know? And I know that's the same thing in your music.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we got that.
Well, the first song we did was called No Turning Back. That's actually what started the project. And I remember you telling me, is like, you know, when you asked me to get on the record, because I don't do free features.
Correct.
So when you came to me, you're like, listen, man, I want to do a project. I want to do a single with you. It's called No Turning Back. And I was like, okay, let me hear the record first. Because I'm always like, let me hear the record first. If it's trash, I'm just going to tell them no.
100%. For sure.
So I hear the record.
I wouldn't have been mad at it.
I hear the record and I'm like, wait a minute. It's a dope record. Okay. I'm like, okay. Then I got to figure out, like, okay, is there cap in the rap? Is this shit like going on? And I was like, why do you want to do a song with me? And I remember you told me, it was like, on that particular record, it was like, listen, man, I could relate to you. You know, I'm in my own relationship right now. And I really, what's not to like about being real with your lady?
Which is significant other. Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? That to me was like, yo, it made me feel like I made it. Like this was a dream, like that not only me, but other people aspire to have. And so to be able to make a record, that's what caught me with the No Turning Back record, because it was like, yo, you know.
I wrote that thinking about my wife, man. So yeah. I feel you.
And that's why you were like, yo,
I feel you.
That's why you were like, I think you'd be dope on the record.
Absolutely. I think you set the tone on that with your verse. It was, my wife talks about it all the time, how you went crazy on the record. So
yeah,
you're just going to have to wait and
here, actually, No Turning Back is
it's out right now.
Yeah.
You know, everybody could go tap in. No Turning Back, and who I do it for.
Yeah.
Shout out my niece, Kayla Perez. She's on the record, you know. So
what made you want to put her on I Do It For?
That, I feel like it was just more like, it just bring more substance, because when I was writing that record, I was writing a lot about my nieces. I didn't even know like my son was on the way or anything. So my eyes were like my nieces, and you know, those were the kids in the family. So I would always shout them out. You know, I speak about my niece Kiara, about how nothing good comes when you speed in. You know, so I talk about Kiara like that. Stop getting them tickets, man. And then I
let my niece the Audi.
Let my niece the Audi. That was Carissa. I drove her to school, and she was infatuated with the car. So I was like, yeah, you could drive it to work. Do your thing, not to work, to school. And I was like, do your thing. So it's always means like a lot of substance in my music. And I was talking about my nieces, but then now it's like the scary part. I have a lot more to talk.
Yeah, legit.
You know?
Bro, so that was No Turning Back, I Do It For. Like when you sent me that record, that's where we were like, hey, look, we're going to do a project. Like I Do It For, it was hitting me. Like when I heard that, I do it for you had the hook.
For the hustle, pain.
The losses, the gains, the sunshines after the rains. The
hustle, the gang, my mother, my gang. It's Queens get the money. That ain't changed.
Bruh, I was, you know, my family, my life, I've gone through so much stuff. And people ask me, like, it's like you don't stop. It's like you just keep going. What keeps you going? And it was crazy, man. Like it's just wild, because when I heard that, I was like, yo, I just gotta speak my mind on there, bro. And
killed that record, my brother.
Dog,
you killed that record,
bro. I'm like,
and one of my favorite lines is like when you put your fist in the air, like basically you said. I always tell you that. I told you that in the car, you know, the other day, and I was like, man, you killed this record, dude. And the way you did that, shout out to Yankee Hayes. He basically he shot the visual for that project, which is out right now.
He does a lot of work with Latin
With
artists.
a lot of Latin artists, you know. So he's worked with like Carol G, Brian Myers, and stuff like that, you know. So he's a good dude, man. I'm very blessed to bring him along and work with him, and you know, do this joint collaborative project, man. It's really dope, for real.
Yeah, man. Greatness demands respect, man. We got I Do It For, No Turning Back. What else?
We have about 8 records on the project.
Yep.
We have Sometimes.
Sometimes. Let's talk about Sometimes.
Sometimes, man, I just want to rap, you know. We went out to shout out Ybor City, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's the spot called? You know, so
Oh yeah, Ybor
Urban Market. Ybor Urban Market. Everybody go tap in with them.
Yeah.
It's a dope spot for real, man. We were blessed, you know. Shout out to your wife,
Jenny.
Key.
Yeah,
She found that. She found that spot, and it was a great spot. I loved it, man, and it just felt right. It just felt great.
Yeah, we shot a mic talk.
Shout out to Raw Link Media, you know. They shot the content, you know, dope. Everybody go fuck with Raw Link for real if you want to get your shit up to par.
Thank you.
You know,
Legit.
for real, man. And yo, we had a great time, and we
What's
just
the
worked.
record about? What did you feel when you were writing the record?
I was basically thinking about my dad, who I do it for, thinking about my moms, my nieces. Like I said, at that time, I didn't have my son, you know, like I didn't even know. So
Sometimes though, like where was Sometimes?
oh, sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just want to rap, man. Like I just wanted the people to hear that. Sorry about that. I just wanted the people to hear that and like know, like I just want to rap, and I'm never gonna stop, man. I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah.
And then also like what I was doing before, and it's easy to fall back in the loop. And I tell that to people all the time. And you just gotta be smart in your decisions. Don't fall back into that loop, because this shit, the streets will do it to you, and they'll call you back.
Yeah.
And if you dumb enough, you know, you're gonna fall right back into that trap. So don't do that, and just, you know, stick to the positive shit.
Yeah, bro, you want to know what's crazy is because it was nuts when it was crazy when I heard the record, because that is more of a for sure boom bap rap, and but I felt it because I'm like, it's crazy because yo, it's like you said, bro, it's like I had to move out of Tampa because people was like, Hunt, streets missed you, you still online?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
At 4 a.m.
yeah, and I be in a Walmart, and motherfucker ask me, they see me and they like, bro, these streets is dry without you, bro. Like, and I'm like, man, I gotta leave. That's why I moved to New York. Yeah, that's why I had to move to New York, because I just know I fall back into the trap.
100%.
And it's like, literally, man, I get a call on Facebook Messenger from DR, and motherfucker,
And shit be tempting, you know?
I hit the top button, and the nigga with a brick. I got hey.
You're like, oh, this is easy. You
Yeah,
know,
bro. And bro, I remember, you know, my people that I used to, you know, give work to, you know, and bro, like, they're crying. I'm like, man, I'm sorry.
I can't help
I'm
you.
sorry, dog. Like, I'm glad that you love me like that. And they're like, yeah, man, but like, where am I gonna get my powder?
Because they couldn't find no better powder than mine.
Yeah, bro, what am I gonna do? And bro, these are real life like situations that I'm like, yo,
See,
do you know
lines
I'm
like
going to
that,
prison.
Lines like that is like what I was telling you. You were setting the tone. Like as much as like I tell you, like, yo, those records. But when I got those records back, I was like now we cooking.
Bro, I feel like
Now
I gave you some of my best verses, bro.
I
on that record. Yeah, because it was, you really, I feel, not just that, when we recorded them, like when we recorded them at Leak House, right? That's the Leak House, and when we recorded them at,
shout out, we went to a spot in Miami. Man,
yeah, it's dope.
It's a dope spot.
Drake
Yeah.
there, they got a C800 on it.
100%.
We gonna tag them in this clip.
We gonna tag them for sure.
Bro, it was amazing, man. Like, it was amazing experience, and I felt like I could, like, when I'm in Tampa, bro, I feel like people know me, but they feel like they have access to me. But when I go down south, bro, I feel like it's like I could be like me.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because it's like I have to prove that I am on this level. And I get into the zone, and all of a sudden we freestyled the record.
Freestyled the record. I mean, if I don't tell you something like shit.
What other records we got on there?
My best.
I may not always win it, but I know I did my best.
My best is
Yo,
crazy.
bro, that was another one, man. You played the record. You just had the beat.
I just had to beat. Shout out Vince. You
Yeah.
set the tone on that.
Yeah,
one.
because you were doing all the hooks.
Well, my
you were
man
doing all
came through, freestyled the whole thing. I was like, yo, even Big M, shout out Big M.
Big M, yeah.
He was going crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like, you know, things like that. Like, we having fun doing this and creating this project, but at the same time, we really working.
Yeah, we put in work, bro. Bro, you want to know what was crazy is that I remember I had got called out in one of my boxing matches. I got robbed in the boxing match, and
I was there.
you were there?
I was there. That was your first fight. Definitely got robbed.
Bro, how was
I
that?
tell you that all the time. The dude's nose was so fucked up, bloody. The man had him fucked up. The man was fucking up the cage and shit. He was about to fall out the cage, dude. I was like, damn. And then I hear the end result is like, damn, man, why they hating on my mans like that? Pause, like, yo, it's crazy. But everybody felt like that way in the gym. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, it was crazy. Bro, so after that, I get called out on TikTok. And when I, on the way to you, I felt some kind of way. And then all of a sudden, people want to start fighting me. Like, yo, I feel like that shit, I could test that shit. And I'm like,
Hold up.
yo, I beat that dude up, right? Like, so it was like,
You know, politics be involved, man.
right.
You know.
And so I wanted to rap about that. I also wanted to, like, I felt like that was a record that I could stunt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, you slid on that motherfucker.
right, it was crazy.
Crazy.
GDR, greatness demands respect. What about your verse on there? Like, where'd that come from? I've been through a lot.
Just to change, didn't have shit
To my name.
And cops want to lock me up
Up in
and
chains.
just didn't hurt on my name. Like, yo, I actually went in there and I freestyled and
My
I
fiance
changed-
keeping me sane.
yeah, every time. Shout out to you, Lauren. You're the best. Listen, but like, for real, that record, when you did that hook, you made me change my verse. I was like, yo, yeah, he ain't gonna do me like this right now. And I went back and I ain't afraid to say it. Like, I rewrote
Yeah,
the shit.
it's
You
fine.
know what I'm saying? And that's how that became. So
yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, bro, it was an amazing experience. I appreciate you, like, because you had something for it, and we kind of like changed it after.
Yeah, we
like,
changed it completely.
but it was dope. Big M was there too. He was like, "Yo, this shit's crazy." Like, that's the one thing, man. We've been in there with other people that
Complete strangers to us.
yeah, and they're
That
like,
don't even know us from a hole in the wall, and we just go in there and they're like, yo, this is dope. This is dope. Shout out to Primetime, man. DJ Primetime. He's spinning it. Everybody could go tap in, man.
he's playing my best.
My best and who I
Do it
do it
for.
for.
I do it for.
makes sense.
Which is our next one. Makes sense.
Makes sense, man.
What
All
was
makes sense.
what was the part? Because when you sent me that record, bro, like the beat.
The beat is crazy.
See, that's the ones that I'm like, yo, that's not.
That's the melodic vibe.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And even the hook, when you sent me with the hook, I lived in Queens. The second time I lived in New York, right?
Shout out
As an
Queens,
adult.
man.
Shout out Queens. Shout out Richmond Hill, because that's where our family is.
Shout
You know
out
what I'm
Richmond
saying?
Hill for sure.
Bruh, so when you was like, came a long way from Queens with a broken dream, all makes sense. I do it for the team. Bro, it touched me because I thought when I moved back to New York that I wouldn't ever leave New York. I miss New York still, but I thought I would never leave. And when
Me too.
when I left New York, it was because I met my wife.
Mm.
And I asked my company to let's get me back to Florida, and they were like, no. And I left $200K on the table. These people didn't pay me because I left. And I came down and I cried to my brother because I lived in his apartment, and I cried and I was like, I love you, bro, but I gotta go down there. And I drove back to Florida for this dream. You know what I'm saying? And
Sacrifices, man.
sacrifices.
100%.
And it's been well worth it.
There's no prize big enough than when you meet that right person to share all this
My
with.
life with that.
Exactly.
I wake up to this morning I woke up to her, and you know, I feel the same way that I felt. Like, I'm grateful, I'm blessed to even do that. So, you know, but you know, people be talking shit.
Oh, they're gonna always talk shit, you know.
Oh, you got 200K on the table, dumbass nigga. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know what it takes. Like, goddamn, bro, can't they let a Chico live?
Damn, bro.
They say the ones that talk the most to be your relatives, and for sure it was. Like,
don't I know it?
you know, everybody, dog. And like how to make this money, how to run your biz.
You gave me money, you could tell me how to raise my kid?
Where your ass was at when I had to do it big.
Fuck thinking small-minded.
I'm going to do it big. Because if I ain't doing it, then I don't know who is. Wait, let me ask you something, dog.
Have you seen the crib?
Have you?
I did.
You see the backyard, bro?
I did.
Did you see the win?
Of course.
GLE 43. Have you seen my bitch?
Yo, you killed that. And it's real rap.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And, bro, it made so much sense.
Makes sense.
What were you thinking? Bro, because even yours was like,
I was just
really nothing makes sense.
I was really thinking about everything that you just broke down. My wife, at that time when I wrote that record, I already knew my son was on the way. And it made sense to talk about my team, everybody having this goal, what we're trying to achieve, all the hard work we putting in. And
yeah.
I just wanted to shout people out. Does anybody that's doing any type of work like that,
yeah,
just keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Vibe, bro. Bro, you a beast, man. That was the record where I was like, I'm not gonna lie, you made me need to step it up.
Stop it.
Yeah, nah, cause really nothing makes sense. I'm backed up August, haven't paid rent.
Hustling so much, haven't checked how much I made yet. The grind don't stop.
That's how the days went. Bro, those are the lines where I'm like,
and nah, I ain't preaching. Nothing comes good when you speeding. My life's been facts, never pretend. Let my niece the Audi for the weekend.
I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Shout out to Carissa, man. Yeah, man.
Bruh, those were like I said, when I listened to the song, I listened to the beats, I was like, yo, I gotta hop on these things. Like, and this was the project, you know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate you, and man, I'm super grateful that you wanted to do this project with me.
Man.
So thank you.
Bro, Coach Prime.
Coach Prime is crazy. Coach Prime is ridiculous. For real. I personally love that, not just the beat, the record, the message. It's crazy that you came and slid on.
The way that you did the hook, bro, it's crazy. It was the flow on the.
I ain't got time for a hooker. Worry about who? I ain't got time for a looker. Right out the place, feel like Coach Prime when I cook up.
Woo!
Come on.
Bro, it was crazy, man. Like, take Mama Cancer away.
You ain't got the answer, Sway. Try to make the bands okay. March up the street, it's a damn parade.
They say timing is everything.
For me, rhyming is everything.
Bro, this
I won't do too much.
It's crazy though, bro. Like all those rhymes, I was like, yo, this motherfucker came different on this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually watching a Colorado football game when I made that verse. So I was like, I ain't got time for the talk, say less. I don't even hear what they suggest. I think they finna pass come across their chest because my time is money, so it gotta make sense. So I ain't got time for the fake shit. I ain't got time for no fake love. Game on the line, and I feel like Coach Prime. Vince wearing Cartier bus. Yo.
That's why I don't stress on the BS.
Look how I'm dressed, boy. They like you rejects. Thinking her ex want to press play prevents. Don't get ran through like she pray on the defense.
Come on.
People be asking why Chico don't quit. The way he be rapping, he think he the shit. Vince been a problem since he was legit. Went to the big house and took it legit. My mama told me I'm just like my daddy, so that's why I'm gonna go get a pick six. We about to beat it in the end zone, and I'm about to pull out my watch and start flexing my wrist.
Ridiculous,
bro. Yo, so I was like, yo, you hit the cadence, the flow with yours, and I was like, yo, I gotta do some wild shit, bro.
Nah, you went crazy,
bro. We both did, man. That was a dope record. I feel like it made sense. It was called Cook Up before, but when you said
Coach Prime,
because it just made
it made more sense. And then I actually found out that they just recently released a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
You know, so
we
it's
should
like,
we should get that shit on there, bro. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, man. For real,
I sent
man,
this
you know
just
what
to
I'm saying?
Shador Sanders. I did.
Oh, you did?
I sent my clip. He saw it too.
That's awesome.
Shador, man, let's get that on
Let's get
Prime
that on,
documentary.
man. Let's get
man.
that on the Prime documentary for real.
Bruh,
We need that.
the next one, La Foto.
Man, I don't even want to stress how ridiculous the visuals were. Shout out Raw Link Media. Like, we shot that yesterday. Dope spot. Like, I don't want to give them too much, but
Yeah.
you know, wait till that record comes out.
It's got the Latin vibe. We
It's
mixed
got like
it-
the narco vibe.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's I think it's super sick. You know, the hook being in all Spanish, it gives us that vibe that, you know, going back to our
You did that,
roots.
so
That was another
more
freestyle.
more props to
Right.
you because you made that happen. I just on that record right there, like I just
If
believe-
things
like,
go
you-
left.
You set the tone on that one, so I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, let's rock out with it.
Yeah.
So I was just following your blueprint on that one.
Crazy.
That came out ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like it was crazy because I feel like my flow was more simple on that, but it was like, it made more
And
sense.
sometimes being more simple means
Better.
better.
Yeah.
More like
Yeah.
and people could relate to it a lot.
Yeah, man. It was dope, man. I got my Latino on, my Spanish on, so I appreciate
Now
that.
they requesting more.
Yeah, now they want more for
Now
sure.
they want more. You know.
So we got I Do It For, No Turning Back, Make Sense, Coach Prime, La Foto,
We got Forever I'm a Ride.
Forever.
Forever, for sure. And that when I made Forever I'm a Ride, I was just like, you know, I'm gonna just how can I tell my team? How can I tell whoever's gonna fuck with me? How can I tell anybody whoever's gonna do some type of business negotiation? Yeah, I'm a forever ride, man. Like, you know, I stay true to myself, and that's where that all came about. So that's
Yeah.
where the substance of that came from, and I just started writing and
It's fire, bro. I think it
Finish
was
it off.
dope, the entire thing. It made me think about life situations, and, you know, even like the beginning part of it when I talked about it, like that was true. I did see the dude who snitched on me, my barber, in a Walmart.
Walmart.
And I was with another friend who was letting me stay in his house, who had let me stay in his house. I had already gone into the solar game. I started already making money. I was living in New York. I was in the game. I had been out of prison. It was like 3 years after I got out of prison. The whole situation, they hadn't even done the documentary yet. I was writing a book for myself. And then all of a sudden I walk into Walmart, it'd be like me and you walking in Walmart, and then I see the guy who snitched on me after I'd have made like a whole life decisions to get out of the game, and see this guy, and like, you know, my friend has to hit me and like, please, dog, I got a family, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you're ready to
crash out.
You're ready to sacrifice it all.
Bro, it's
You know
just
what I'm
been,
saying? But I'm glad you didn't go
Yeah.
that route, you know.
yeah. And it took a lot of willpower, and it took a lot of like understanding too that maybe I needed that. Not that I needed for him to be the guy that did.
Just
But-
in general,
but, like,
hypothetically.
My life took a turn for the best, even though it didn't feel like it at the time.
at the moment, right?
Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying, so greatness demands respect. I feel like that, bro. I feel like it's one of the best projects I've ever done. Bro, if
Thank
you,
you, man. Thank
shout
you.
out your socials, man, so we could.
Everybody could go find me at J Burna. That's JBurna 718. You already know. Shout out Corona. That's why the 718's in there.
Bro, if you could give advice to somebody that wants to be in your shoes, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, some advice. Basically, I would tell them, like, you know, first of all, set yourself some goals, what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Set your budgeting up right. Understand the game. Understand all the work you got to put in. It's not just making a song, going to the studio, releasing it. You know, there's a lot more to it. You know, if you're really serious about this, you got to make sure you get your promotion, your wardrobes, everything we spoke about earlier, content creating. You know, you got to make sure all your shit is on point. If you really want to differentiate yourself from others, you know, so do that. Stay true to yourself, stay grounded, and don't ever stop swinging for them fences, you know?
That's fire, bro. Burna, shout out your socials one more time, man.
Everybody could go find me at all social media platforms at JBurna718. That's JBurna718. You already know what time it is. You know the name.
Same for music as well.
Same for music, same for all types of social.
JBurna718.
JBurna718. That's where you find.
Bro, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank
I appreciate you.
me, man.
Greatness demands respect.
Coming out soon, man. Produced by GDR. Shout out Youngest in the Yacht Club. Shout out Raw Link Media. Shout out Queens Get the Money Records, man. We on.
Let's do it, man. Thanks, bro.
Yes, sir.